Terps fans, and welcome to day 2 in West Virginia. We are back at the Milan Ice Pavilion in Morgantown, West Virginia. Terps about to square off once again against the Mountaineers for a Saturday matinee. My name is Bailey Unchester, joined with my friend Andy Parr. How you doing, Andy?
Good. Maryland coming off a win last night in the non-conference half of this weekend, a 3-1 victory. Sean Amon with a late power play goal to ice that one, just 1:55 on the clock when Maryland's assistant captain potted one behind J.P. Zuck. But that was only the first part of the job. Today, this game counts towards the ACC conference standings.
And, we're probably going to see another low-scoring game just like we did last night. So, again, this could really go either way for both squads. West Virginia, still a very complete team. They play well together. It's just those little mistakes that seem to sort of nick them, and I could honestly say the same thing about the Terps. Two teams that play very similarly.
Absolutely. Maryland and West Virginia, both very opportunistic teams. West Virginia's only goal yesterday coming on an odd man rush. Maryland's goals came on rebounds and kind of just jam plays in front of the net. So you got to capitalize on those scoring chances. You're not going to be getting clean looks all night just with prime angles. And as I said before, this one counts towards the ACC conference standings. Top 8 teams in the conference make the playoffs every year. And right now it's like Maryland, West Virginia, Delaware, and Rider. Probably 2 of those 4 are going to be the 2 who get left out of Winston-Salem. So this one, a huge one for Maryland today.
The Terps have to be locked in today. We do have some changes to the lineup. So you're going to see some new skaters in some new places. But still a lot of similarities. Our defense core primarily the same. We've got Jack Pharisee still in net for the Terps. He is going to be, in my opinion, the key piece to keeping Maryland in it. That's what did it last night for the Terps. West Virginia having a lot of great chances and Pharisee denying all times except for one.
Yeah, especially in that first period. Maryland came out a little bit slow, but they took a 1-0 lead into that intermission locker room mainly because of the play of Jack Pharisee. They're going to need their star goaltender to keep up his pace if they want to come out with a win today. He's such a crucial part of this lineup and this Maryland core.
So that's my player of the game to watch tonight. And we will be back with you guys shortly in just a few minutes. It looks like we have just about 6 minutes until puck drop, so do not go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Bailey Unchester for this afternoon's matchup between the Maryland Terrapins and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Maryland winning the non-conference matchup last night 3-1. West Virginia trying to even up the weekend series in the all-important ACC conference game. Bailey, what are you expecting this afternoon?
I'm expecting a very similar game to what we saw last night. Both of these teams very opportunistic, as we discussed a little bit in our pregame show. That's where they capitalized the most. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see another low-scoring game. West Virginia has Jackson Bernier in goal tonight, who we saw a bit during the showcase. Very sound in net. So Terps are really going to have to work hard to get their chances in on him. Maryland still going with Jack Pharisee. So, again, a huge backbone last night specifically for the Terps, keeping them in this game defensively.
Absolutely. Jackson Bernier, we saw him once at the showcase, and he dominated the Rider Bronx up in the St. James. A very capable sophomore netminder there for the Mountaineers. But we've got Adam Scott and Chase Wilson at the faceoff dot, and we are underway from Morgantown for this final game between the Terps and Mountaineers this weekend. That one tipped into the offensive zone by West Virginia, so no ice here, but Maryland's trying to start a breakout. It's Ryan Teske up for Facciano. Facciano gets checked there by John Nikolajski, and West Virginia's trying to set up the offense. Nikolajski going in tight. Good hit from Teske there to take him off the puck. Maryland picking up speed the other way. This is Blake Warner. Warner on the near circle with a shot. That's blocked by Starr and wide. Facciano sends it right back to Bernier. He'll easily stick that one aside. Skying that pass through center. Here come the Mountaineers. This is Sullivan up for Scott. Scott trying to get around Petter. He can save for Pharisee right there. Luke Mohan collecting that rebound behind the Maryland cage. Mohan trying to pick up some speed. Into neutral finds Serra. Andre Serra over the blue line. Serra crossing in front, looking for Mohan there. That pass just a little bit off target. Travis Duchesne tried to apply some pressure to keep the puck in the Maryland end. Couldn't quite do it there, but this will be icing on the Mountaineers as that pass for Charlie Wogish skips his stick and goes the length of the surface.
Good looks for West Virginia early on there. They got really tight in there on Pharisee. He was able to make a couple saves early, though. Now we're going to see what the Terps can do the other way.
As we alluded to, Maryland making a few changes to their forward personnel today. West Virginia also looking at the bench during pregame warmups, also changing a lot of their lineup personnel. You're going to be hearing a lot of different names tonight on both sides. This puck taken away by Wogish, plays it for Brown. Carter Brown trying to get something going for the Mountaineers, pressured heavily by Duchesne, and Travis Duchesne has a takeaway back the other way. In front for Horan, that one was on his backhand, so he couldn't get a shot off cleanly. Charlie Wogish now with the puck for West Virginia. Wogish will dump this in from the blue line right at Pharisee, and he'll squeeze. 18:32 to go in the first period. No serious danger either way so far.
Wogish was definitely a name we heard a lot last night for the Mountaineers, specifically towards that third period. He is, I believe, the captain there for this Mountaineer squad, and he is a very physical guy. Got into some scrums with some Maryland players towards the end.
James Romps winning that face-off against Ryan Anderson, but West Virginia gets possession. At the point, this is Briggs. Briggs down low, finds Ambrosi with a shot saved by Pharisee. That rebound was loose for a second. It goes to Best, and another blocker saved. Jack Pharisee flashing the blocker with traffic in front. Best still dangerous here, sends it down low for Weichel. Weichel trying to feed Anderson in front, couldn't get there. Anderson with a wrap attempt, still jamming at it. That was Weichel, another save for Jack Pharisee. Andrew Wallace trying to slow things down with Rakauskis. Jack Rakauskis sending that one off the Maryland cage. Anderson in front for Weichel, and he couldn't take the shot. George Best, another long-range blast. That one wide of Pharisee. Rogers with the keep-in at the far point. Big hit there from James Body to take down Rogers, and Andrew Wallace really trying to get this out of the zone now. Finds Rakauskis. Rakauskis, long-range pass there. Finds the stick of James Romps, and Maryland can change. Jackson Bernier leaves that one to the side for Briggs. Briggs will use the glass to play this up for Rogers, but they can't get it past Chase Wilson. Nice keep in there. Here comes Sean Amon. Amon on the near circle with a shot. Shoulder save for Bernier. Lively rebound finds its way to Chase Wilson in the corner. He's getting physical with Dylan Williams, the two of them pushing at each other. Dylan Williams and Chase Wilson still sparring. Now Williams on his way. No, still looking at Wilson, giving him a little slash as Pharisee covers that one. And now after the whistle, we'll see if this gets any further.
It's like Gallagher is having to be kept away from some Terps there towards Pharisee's net. He now skates off to the ice, no issue. Looks like Officials aren't going to do anything about that one. We're still on 5-on-5, but now another Maryland defensive zone draw to worry about.
On the bottom of your screen, you may have just seen Chessie, the Wanners dog who joined us in West Virginia this weekend.
Shout out Jesse.
Pass there from Caden Vogel a little bit offline, and McCuster sends it the other way for West Virginia, but it's taken away by Sean Amon. Amon now in the Maryland defensive end. Amon waiting for a passing lane to open up. He chooses Vogel. Caden Vogel playing it forward for the first time this season. Leaves that one for Mohan as he delivers a crunching check on Dylan Young. Andre Serra has to retreat to neutral to play this puck. Serra over the red line, no ice here. Around the boards, it's picked up by Nikolajski, trying to play it into neutral. Cam Horan there for Maryland. Adam Scott, though, able to push it all the way down. Eli Petter behind Jack Farrisee. Petter feeds Horan. Horan had it caught up in his skates, though, and Wogish sends it back into the offensive zone for the Mountaineers. Farrisee out of his cage, leaves for Petter yet again. Eli Petter slowing things down, chooses Mohan. Luke Mohan, nice pass there for Duchesne. A little give and go, and it ends up back with Eli Petter. Petter for Mohan. Mohan across finds Serra. Serra with a shot. That one goes wide, looking for the blocker side of Bernier right there. Eli Petter retreats again. Up for Duchesne. Duchesne using the boards there, trying to feed Horan. That one intercepted by Wogish. Charlie Wogish on the near circle. Shot there blocked by Andre Serra. Hollander collects it. To the point, it's Brown. Carter Brown, a long-range blast. That one a stick save for Farrisee. Rebound still dangerous. That was Colby Sims trying to jam at that one. Back in neutral, this is Carter Brown going all the way into his defensive end now. Trying to spring Sims with a stretch pass there. That one a little bit too hot off his stick. Sims goes back to Brown. Brown has that pass taken by Chase Wilson, who will send it deep into the Maryland zone. Wilson tries to keep that one at the point. That one skips him, but this will be icing on the Mountaineers. 15:05 left in the first period.
This fourth line, again, is going to be trying to pull a lot of weight in this afternoon's game. You know, still Chase Wilson, hungry from some good chances last night. And again, his record-breaking games played with the Terps, that is going to keep climbing until somebody else beats it. He's now at 117. So.
Yes, your new games played record holder. Again, it's Chase Wilson now at 117.
So crazy. He came out of nowhere with that one.
Hollander trying to get this one out of the defensive zone for West Virginia. He'll skate behind Bernier and feed Ambrosi. Back for Hollander. Good defensive stick there from Warner to try and keep the pressure on, but now West Virginia's got in center. This is Hollander. Hollander picking up speed, now 1-on-4, trying to get around a couple. Leaves for Ambrosi. Ambrosi a shot. That one was blocked high. Hollander trying to feed the point for Briggs, but Briggs was fresh on the ice and not into the zone yet. West Virginia forced to check back up. Briggs now picking up some speed on the near circle. Shoulder save for Farrisee. Body leaves for Rakowskis, who's able to push it over the blue line. Delayed offside here on the Mountaineers. Now washed out. Rakowskis leaves in the corner. Body ringing that one around the boards for Doherty. Colin Doherty. Pass there, finds Body again. Body going one-on-one against Best right there. Romps joins the battle. All three of them kind of tie each other up, and this is going to be a penalty. A hook spotted by the near official.
Looks like it's going to be George Best, number 67 in blue, is going to be taken off there for that little, trip there, getting tied up with James Body. George Best, actually, I would talk with his dad a little bit. We made a 6-7 joke on a broadcast at the showcase. His dad reached out to us on Instagram and said that, you know, he gets it all the time. Actually sent us a video from their media day of him doing the little 6-7 hands. So shout out to the Best family. Sorry I get taken off for a penalty there.
George Best, 2 minutes for hooking. This Maryland power play getting to work for the first time today. Teske at the point. Teske a long blast. That one doesn't get all the way to the net. Petter's still dangerous in front for Duchesne. He jams it wide. Travis Duchesne still with the puck on the near circle. To the point for Petter. Back to the main center. It's Teske. Near circle, Petter trying to feed down low for Body. Off the boards, he gets it. Body will ring it around the edge and get to Petter again. Eli Petter chooses to go back down low. Body's there. James Body will push it forward again. Finds Sean Amon on the far side. Amon down low. This is Duchesne. Travis Duchesne feeds Petter on the circle, but that one just skips over his stick, and Teske has to reset in neutral. Brian Teske one-on-one against Adam Scott. He's forced to leave it for Body. Body carries the blue line. Body trying to use his frame to get that one around Brody St. Onge. St. Oj, though, able to clear this one the length of the ice. Jack Pharisee goes out of his net to play this one. Look out for Jake Weichel. He was coming in aggressively, but the Terps recover. This is Teske. Brian Teske with a little under a minute to go on this power play. Teske slowing things down, finds Amon. Sean Amon sends it across for Romps. James Romps into the zone with a shot blocker save for Bernier. James Romps was cruising right down Broadway there. This is Rakowskis. Rakowskis looking for Haran. That pass intercepted by a Mountaineer and sent all the way down. George Best will be released in about 20 seconds. That pass a little bit too long for Haran there. Maryland still caught up in neutral. Delayed offside, now washed out. Blake Warner will chase against Carter Brown. Brown using the boards to try and get this one out. Gets it all the way to the length of the ice. And that'll kill out the rest of this penalty to George Best. Good early kill for the Mountaineers. Best officially back out onto the ice now. Luke Mohan for Maryland. Mohan skies that one into the netting. Looked like he was trying to play it off the glass, and it just goes out of play.
He was trying to play it to us.
Yeah. Mohan trying to use the glass there to try and maybe spring Blake Warner on a stretch play. Instead, it hits the netting first. 11:52 left in the first frame. Still 0-0 between the Terps and the Mountaineers. Maryland wins this defensive zone draw. Rakowskis was trying to get Warner there for a breakout. Gets stalled up for a moment. Now Doherty uses the boards to find Haran. Haran gets it into neutral, but Briggs is there for West Virginia. Briggs plays it back for McCusker. That one, though, offline, and he'll have to go all the way back. Luke Mohan takes him into the boards. Caden Vogel also applying some pressure. Wogish, long pass there, taken by Sarah. Sarah up ahead for Scriven. Uses the boards to find Mohan, but he can't quite handle it cleanly, and West Virginia's back the other way. They only get it as far as Sarah. Andre Sarah up for Scriven. Scriven tried to play it into the offensive zone. McCusker was in the way there. Now here comes Hollander. Hollander nearly overskated himself on that play, and Maryland takes advantage. Andre Sarah's pass for Wilson is a little bit offline, and this will turn into a Maryland icing.
Just over 10 minutes left to play here in this first period. Still no score, though. West Virginia, I feel like they've had the most offensive pressure so far. Terps, though, doing a really good job defensively. That's going to be the name of their game today, is really maintaining that defense.
Ryan Anderson and Chase Wilson getting ready at the dot here. Look out for Ambrosi on a set piece, but Wilson with a nice face-off win to null out that opportunity. Ambrosi in front, goes to the point now for Young with a shot. It's blocked by Scriven. Henry Scriven chasing the rebound off his body. He'll dump it into the offensive zone. Some big cheers from the Maryland bench. Henry Scriven, normally a defenseman, playing forward today and using some of his defensive instincts on that play to set up an offensive zone opportunity. Here comes Anderson for the Mountaineers. Anderson with a long-range shot. That one's blocked by Petter, out of play.
Again, some great defense there from the Terps within those past few moments there. Again, Henry Scriven slotting in at forward. You know, he doesn't really see his way into a consistent lineup playing time, but that was a really big play from 14 red there. And then Eli Petter again, really just tracking that last breakaway, casually sticking that one in out of play.
Gallagher and Wilson getting set at the Zot here. Two of them tied up, and it ends up with Maryland. This is Amon. Sean Amon pushes it forward, finds Facciano. Got caught up with a linesman for the moment, and now it goes all the way into the West Virginia zone. Amon with it on the near circle. Down low for Warner with a shot. No! Saved by Bernier, and after the whistle, Dylan Young takes down Blake Warner. Looks like the officials are going to call the slash after the whistle. Good play there from Blake Warner. Saw a frustrated Dylan Young and got up in his face.
That was a really great chance there from the Terps, though, earlier. We thought that went in. The fans in the stands here all cheered like that did. A really great crashing effort there from that fourth line. That's what they do best. That's how they score. They get those breakaway chances, and they come in hot, and they're just so well connected that they're able to pass it to each other pretty much from anywhere on the ice. Again, denied there by Bernier. Great save for him, but Maryland is going to get another look there at this power play unit.
Really smart veteran play from Blake Warner. He saw a frustrated Dylan Young right in front of him, so he gives him a little bit of a word after the whistle and draws the emotional slash out of number 6 in blue to get a Maryland power play, and this is about to become a 5-on-3. Right off the face-off, that was Luke Starr, trips up James' body, And this is going to be nearly 2 full minutes of 5-on-3 for Maryland.
These 5-on-3 opportunities for the Terps, they are hit or miss. If these guys can really figure out what they're playing right now and get the positioning correct, obviously a very dangerous chance, but they really have to look out for those breakouts the other way. They can't be thinking 100% offensively here.
Body wins the faceoff to Duchesne. Duchesne will get things started with Teske. Teske cruising into the near circle, goes to Petter. Petter back to Teske on the near side. That one was deflected by Scott. Teske still with the puck, finds Duchesne. Duchesne back up to Teske. Teske trying to get in close, chooses Duchesne. Back up for Teske. Teske to the circle. Will take the shot. That one goes just wide. Duchesne collects the rebound off the boards. Duchesne will send it around to get it to Petter on the far point. Petter down low. This is Amon. Amon back up for Petter. Petter cruising in across. Duchesne with a shot. Saved by Bernier. He dove back to the post.
It's an impressive dive there from Bernier. Really put the flare on that one. It looks like they're taking off James' body for something that must have happened.
The signal is a slash. James' body in disbelief. No clue how that penalty could have been called. Still a Maryland power play for a little bit. It'll be 4-on-3 for the next minute and 18. Then it'll be 4-on-4 for 2 seconds, followed by 40 seconds of power play time for the Mountaineers.
A lot of open ice here. Both teams going to have to be very careful. The team that skates the fastest right now is going to be the team who's going to come out ahead.
That one seeming like a bit of a makeup call for the Mountaineers after back-to-back penalties set up a 5-on-3. Maryland, though, wins the faceoff, and they'll try and get the 4-on-3 power play set up here. Teske sends that one wide to Bernier, but Petter's there to keep the puck in the offensive end. Camden Briggs with a takeaway in the defensive zone for West Virginia, and he'll be able to send this one into neutral. Eli Petter picking up speed. Petter feeds Doherty. Colin Doherty takes it to the far side, sends it to the point to Rakowskis. Rakowskis moving down to the circle, back up for Petter. Petter, long shot there, saved by Bernier, and he'll squeeze. Travis Duchesne was trying to bury a rebound in tight. Bernier faster with the glove.
It's like Maryland again changing out some of their personnel. We got a really unique look here at this 4-man power play. Romps, Horan, Rakowskis, and Doherty, all freshmen, anchoring this 4-man rush here.
Face-off won by Romps. This is Rakowskis. Rakowskis trying to find space with a shot right at Bernier. Rebound still loose in front. And the officials lost sight of a loose puck that was sitting behind Bernier, and they blow it dead.
That is a really tough break there for the Terps. It looks like they were crashing in at just the right positioning there. I'm surprised that Horan wasn't able to slot that one in there. That puck trickled just behind Bernier, and if they didn't blow that one dead, somebody could have come in on that far post and slotted that in with the rebound.
Cam Horan was ready to tap that puck home, but the officials blow the play dead first. Rakowskis still dangerous here. Goes to Doherty. Doherty back for Rakowskis. That one skips his stick. Rakowskis, though, able to feed down low to Horan. Horan getting pressured on the boards now. Needs some help. Romps joins the battle. Squirts out to St. Onge for West Virginia, but this will be a hand pass and stay in the Mountaineer defensive zone. Still 16 more seconds of 4-on-3 power play time for Maryland. Then we get our very important 2 seconds of 4-on-4 after that, Bailey.
You know, there's a lot that can happen in 2 seconds. You could score 2 goals in 2 seconds.
Theoretically. Romps loses that face-off to Weichel, but it's right at Bernier, and he had to be ready with the stick there. Dylan Young standing up in the box. He's getting ready to go. Jack Rakowskis with it at the point. Long shot goes wide of Bernier. He didn't seem to have a sight line on it, and Maryland's going to be sending another guy to the box as Brody St. Onge is taken down in front of Bernier.
A lot of calls early on here in this first period, obviously, so we're getting some looks at some strange
James Romps skated right to the box. He knew it right away. They caught St. Onge up high. And now we're going to have 3-on-3 for 3 seconds.
So
Actually, 5 seconds.
Okay, so 5 goals, 5 seconds. Going with.
And then it'll turn into a West Virginia power play.
Amon, Duchesne, and Teske going to be anchoring this one in the defensive zone.
Duchesne wins the draw. Amon's got it. And now with Young out of the box, it's officially a shorthanded break for Amon as he'll send this the length of the ice. This is 5-on-3 now for the next 30 seconds. That pass explodes off of Dylan Williams' stick. Sean Amon will be the first one there trying to send it out using the glass, but it rolls into the netting. So this will stay in the Maryland defensive zone. 7:54 left in the first period. Still 0-0 here at the Hope Gas Ice Pavilion in Morgantown. 23 more seconds of 5-on-3 for the Mountaineers, followed by an abbreviated 5-on-4. Duchesne can't win that faceoff, and this is Weichel at the point. Weichel down low finds Sims. Back in front for Weichel with a shot saved by Pharisee. Now Briggs in center, trying to get in tight. Fans on that shot. Duchesne can't get it out. Anderson with a shot. Pharisee scrambles over to get the save and squeeze.
Yeah, Pharisee, a big swallow from him there on that shot from Anderson. That was really just right at his chest, but Pharisee maybe not expecting it at that angle. You could tell he's a little uncertain, but able to get the save in the end. Ryan
Anderson with the puck again. Finds Weichel. Body out of the box. It's a 5-on-4. Blocker save. Anderson, fans on the rebound. And now look out here. Duchesne, he's got speed, and Cam Horan with him. Horan not quite able to stay on side, delayed offside. And now West Virginia has numbers the other way. This is Sims. Sims back for Briggs. Briggs now slowing things down, trying to get the power play set up. Briggs in front. That one's blocked by a couple of Terps. Cam Horan, first one there. He'll use the glass and send that one the length of the ice. Great play from Cam Horan right there. 45 more seconds on the penalty to James Romps. Just under 7 to go in the first frame. Weichel up ahead for Sims. Colby Sims into the offensive zone, facing a lot of pressure from Sarah right there. Sarah still hitting Sims into the board. Cam Horan getting physical there. Now Anderson with a shot that goes wide of Pharisee. At the point, this is McCusker. McCusker has his pass and nobody's home. And Doherty now. Doherty has some space into the offensive zone. He was trying to go 1-on-3. This will kill more time. Doherty, 1-on-1 against Anderson. Doherty somehow keeping possession for so long. Already down to just 5 seconds left in the penalty to Romps. Dylan Williams. Williams a long shot, blocked again by the Terps, and this one goes into neutral. Officially a 5-on-3 kill complete for Maryland. Now here comes Warner. Warner picking up speed in neutral, and this is going to be a penalty on Chase Wilson. They're going to call interference in center ice, and I don't like that one bit.
You saw Wilson, and it looked like Williams there again, kind of both battling for that puck here on these near boards. Officials seem to have spotted maybe a little bit too much there from Wilson. They're going to take
Wilson and Williams have been poking at each other all day so far. That time, they said Williams was too far away from the puck and draws the interference penalty right after Maryland killed the 5-on-3. They're headed to shorthanded play again. Horan will take the face-off here, but he loses it to Hollander. Now West Virginia trying to set up the man advantage. This is Wogish. Charlie Wogish, heavy pressure from Duchesne. Duchesne poking at it and gets it into center. Travis Duchesne, an aggressive start to this penalty kill to push it into center ice. Ambrosi coming in. Now below the Maryland goal, gets stripped of the puck by Sean Amon. West Virginia still fighting for it. A big puck battle behind Jack Pharisee, and Hollander comes out with it for the Mountaineers. Back to the point for Starr. Starr finds Wogish. Wogish across for Ambrosi. Back Starr at the point, a shot, save, rebound. Pharisee's able to cover it up before the Mountaineers get another poke at it. Dylan Williams was looking at the 5-hole.
Yeah, good look from Pharisee. They're closing those pads at the last second and covering. Didn't want any further danger after that play. A smart move from him there and some really quick reflexes to go along with it.
1:23 left in the penalty to Chase Wilson. West Virginia putting their second power play unit onto the ice here. Tie-up face-off comes out in the possession of Ryan Anderson. Anderson spins a couple of times, now goes to the point for Briggs. Briggs can't quite handle that puck, nearly had it poked over his stick. Weichel still fumbling with it, still loose in front. Nobody seems to be able to handle it, and now Sean Amon skates it into center. Amon one-on-one with Briggs. Amon now coming in. Bernier there, and he'll play it out. Sean Amon taken down aggressively by Gallagher, and no call. Colby Sims into the offensive end for West Virginia. Back to the point for Briggs with a shot. Pharisee with the squeeze. Sean Amon very upset that no hook was drawn on that breakaway attempt.
Yeah, it looked like he had that entire real estate stretched down, perfectly cleared for him to make that breakaway, but again, just some Mountaineer pressure there at the last second took him down. It looks like they're taking off. No, they're not taking off Amon. Sorry, the ref was skating him off, I thought.
Nope, Sean Amon was changing on that play as Maryland wins the faceoff. Eli Petter will clear at the length of the ice to kill some more time off this clock. Briggs with it for the Mountaineers. Leaves for Weichel. Weichel feeds Briggs. Intercepted, though, by Petter, and he'll send it down again. Bernier aggressively trying to play this one. Warner's coming in quick. He's got to be careful as Bernier's able to get it over to Anderson. Ryan Anderson in center. Anderson gets poke checked there by Warner, and it's still in center for the Mountaineers. Gallagher across for Brown. It gets caught up in his skates, and he's forced to dump this in. Andre Serra with the puck for Maryland. We'll play it for Petter. Petter's got a little bit of room, and he's able to get this one the length of the ice again. And that's the full penalty kill for Maryland yet again. Chase Wilson's back on the ice. Amazing special teams from Maryland so far. Around the boards, this is picked up by Sullivan. Over to Best. Best trying to start a breakout for West Virginia. Stalled up for the moment by Wilson, and now this is Nikolajski. John Nikolajski chips this into the offensive end for the Mountaineers. Now under 4 minutes to play in the first period. At the point, this is Best. Best a shot. That's blocked by Haran. Doesn't get over the blue line, though. Held in by Brown. Another one. He didn't get all of that shot, and it just dribbles to Pharisee. He'll hold.
Yeah, defense, the name of the game so far from the Terps, and you look like you have all 5 skaters right now. Defense is on their mind. All the forward guys you saw from, obviously, Henry Scriven earlier, and a great block there from Cam Haran.
Mohan with a face-off win. Rakowskis will use the boards to feed it back for Mohan, and Mohan able to not quite get it over the blue line, but he blocks that shot. Now this is Sullivan. Sullivan fans on it, and Rakowskis takes the puck. Now here comes Mohan. Mohan picking up speed with Duchesne. Duchesne getting around Brown. Duchesne in front. Haran couldn't get a stick on it. Rakowskis down for Duchesne. Haran takes Best into the boards. The two of them fighting for that puck. Duchesne able to feed it back down low. Brown and Mohan now take each other behind the net. At the point, it's Wallace with a shot. Blocked there by Sullivan. Wallace a good recovery to prevent a breakaway. A lot of scrambling forward in neutral right here. George Best able to dump it into the offensive end for the Mountaineers. Andrew Wallace there for Maryland. He'll play it up for Romps. Finds Duchesne. Back again to Romps. James Romps working 1-on-2 here. Far circle with a shot. Blocker save for Bernier. That took a funky bounce on the rebound. Rakowskis now with it on the near circle. Rakowskis a shot, and that one leaks through Bernier just wide. Maryland kicking up the pressure right now. Shot there from Doherty goes wide of Bernier. Rakowskis another one tipped, and it goes just wide. Doherty trying to keep the pressure up, slapping at the puck a couple of times, and now Scott has it for the Mountaineers, and he'll happily sky this one into the offensive zone as he needs a change. This is Body. Body a long stretch pass there, nobody home, and this will turn into no icing. Interesting choice there. McCusker hit hard by James Body on that zone exit, and Chase Wilson takes the puck. Up ahead for Body. Body with a long-range shot held by Bernier. And Maryland will get an offensive zone draw with 1:46 to go here in the opening frame.
That was a great last minute or so from the Terps there. Some really good offensive pressure. It started there with a really nice casual feed by Travis Duchesne at his own bench, and that's what was able to set up all of those chances you just saw there. Terps are keeping out some of their really offensively pressured guys at the moment.
Wilson to take this face off against Sims. Sims wins it. Starr trying to get it into neutral, and he will. Teske forced to retreat. Brian Teske sends over to his partner Amon. Amon up ahead for Vogel. Vogel across. He was looking for Scriven. That pass was read by Hollander, and he tips it into the netting. This one should come down to Bernier's end of the ice as Hollander touched it in neutral. It appeared. Yep. Linesman now agreeing that that's where the puck shall be placed. This will be Wilson and Anderson at the dot here. Wilson with a face-off win for Scriven. Scriven a shot, score! Henry Scriven goes bar down off the face-off. 1-0 Maryland.
Bonjour, Frenchie. Welcome to the first line. That was a disgusting snipe from number 14 in red. He got his chance there as a forward in that position, and he absolutely sniped that one. Call a cop. Frenchie Scriven just absolutely shot Jackson Bernier.
Henry Scriven, a set piece off the face-off, goes bar down over Jackson Bernier. He looks like he's been playing forward his whole life. A beautiful opening tally for Maryland late here in the first period. Ambrosi with a takeaway. Cam Horan trying to check him off the puck. Weichel in front, a save by Pharisee. Luke Starr still dangerous, tipped by Weichel, and another save. Ambrosi trying to keep up the pressure for Starr at the point. Starr has that shot deflected by Weichel wide. Eamon trying to get it around. It's held in by Best, though. Anderson finds Ambrosi with a shot, and that one's held by Pharisee. And Teske will get into it with Weichel after that whistle. Weichel a little flop onto the ice.
This isn't soccer, dude. Yeah, I don't think you can pull that one off, but 55 seconds left to play here, and just, wow. This has probably been some of one of the best minutes of Terps hockey I have seen back and forth in my entire career with the team.
Frenchie is one of my favorite guys to talk to off the ice, and just seeing that play is incredible. Gallagher and Mohan at the face-off dot. Gallagher wins it for the Mountaineers. Gallagher a long shot, another save for Pharisee. Eli Petter collects the puck for the Terps. Up ahead for Mohan, back for Petter. Petter dumps that into the offensive end, down to 40 seconds left in the first period. Mohan fighting for the puck on the boards. He gets it to the point for Sarah. Sarah, a long shot, is blocked by Gallagher. This one goes into neutral. Or it does not. Not offside here. Duchesne deflecting that one right at Bernier in front again. Score! No! How is that not a goal? Jackson Bernier reaching behind himself to grab that one out of the air. It sure looked like it had already crossed the goal line. Official immediately washing it out. Now the referees will discuss, but it seems like they've made up their minds. I cannot believe that one is not a valid tally for Maryland.
Yeah, I really don't think I have any valid comment to say on what I just saw, but that is, to put it lightly, not the right decision from the officials.
Jackson Bernier, an incredible effort to try and keep that one out, but from our angle, from all the way back here, it very clearly looked like it crossed the line and Bernier reached over before the puck touched the ice. Doesn't matter where it crosses the line or if it's in the air. As long as it does, it should be a good goal. Maryland's going to be frustrated about that one. Trying to get one more before this period, though. This is Doherty. Doherty in the corner, body with a big check on Nikolajski, and that'll turn out the frame. Henry Scriven, the only tally of the first period. Travis Duchesne apparently held off the score sheet at the very end. But a productive end to the opening frame for the Terps. Bailey and I will be back in about 15 minutes for period number 2 here from the Hope Gas Ice Pavilion. Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Bailey Unchester for the second period here from Morgantown between the Maryland Terrapins and West Virginia Mountaineers. Maryland with a 1-0 lead after the first period, courtesy of Henry Scriven, first game at forward as a Terp, and he had a beautiful bar-down snipe off a face-off.
It actually was, watch that goal back if you missed it, because that was incredible in the last few minutes of that first period.
And we had some convincing angles of Travis Duchesne's no goal that have all of our minds in the Maryland hockey stratosphere swayed about it being in the back of the net, but it's a non-reviewable play, unfortunately, for Maryland. So the Terps still with just a 1-goal lead, despite their best efforts. This faceoff will come to Pharisee's left. And as you may have noticed, we now have shots on goal displayed on the board. These are unofficial. Shot counters are courtesy of the Pharisee family, so they want to make sure Jack's getting all of his stats on the live stream. Teske uses the glass to get into neutral, finds Warner. Blake Warner into the offensive end with a shot there. It's blocked down by Brown. Warner in front. He was looking for a pass. Nobody home. Now Amon with the puck. Amon, a long-range shot, a save for Bernier. Rebound still loose. In the corner, it's going to be picked up by Nikolajski of the Mountaineers. Carter Brown trying to play it out with Sullivan. Brian Teske applying some pressure, but the Mountaineers get out of the zone. This is Nikolajski. John Nikolajski one-on-one against Sean Amon. Amon wins that battle and gets the puck behind the Maryland cage. Amon leaves for Teske. Brian Teske, a long pass there. Taken by Carter Brown as Sullivan and Teske both hit each other in the boards. Now here's Brown. Brown has that play tipped into the offensive end by Sims, so he leaves for Amon. Now this is Teske. Teske will ring it around the boards again, back over to Sean Amon. Amon tries to clear it through neutral. That's blocked down by Sims as Luke Mohan is down in center, in the center of the defensive zone. Maryland bench very upset with no call on the play. Luke Mohan still on one knee. Now back to his feet. Skate off to the bench under his own power. Seems to be okay, just a little bit shaken up.
Mohan is a tough guy, and we're going to need him to stay healthy in this game, especially with the limited amount of guys in our lineup today at the center position. But again, yeah, Terp's very frustrated right now that that call on Mohan was missed there in the middle.
Still 5-on-5 play here. Terps trying to break out of the offensive zone. This is Body. Body trying to play it in front. Draws a penalty, though. Cross-check spotted by the trail official.
Looks like everyone's a bit confused on that one. Then looks like they're going to be taking off Colby Sims there on James Body. Maybe Sims pushed Body a bit on that leaping play he tried to do there in that far corner. And yeah, it's very clear that one of the main storylines of this afternoon's game is that neither side is super thrilled with the officiating.
Yep, both sides with their qualms on the officiating so far. Sorry if you experienced some brief buffering on the stream right there. We had a Wi-Fi surge here in Morgantown, but it appears everything's back online now. Face off here won by the Terps. Amon taking it behind the West Virginia net on the power play. Amon swirls on the circle. Amon goes to the point for Teske. Brian Teske trying to set things up. He'll take the long shot. That goes just high. Sean Amon gets it on the near side. Amon sends it slowly down low. Body's there one-on-one against Best. George Best gets in front. Duchesne turned into a one-timer for Travis Duchesne as George Best was trying to clear the puck out, and a nice save for Bernier right there.
Oh, yeah, Duchesne was really just looking to see if he had any bit of slot room there on that close post off the really end of the pad of Bernier. He unfortunately didn't. Bernier was able to cover that one up, but a good look there for 24 in red.
James Body getting ready to take another face-off here. He'll go up against Francis Gallagher at the dot. Or no, they switched to Duchesne. Duchesne wins it into the corner, and at the point it's Teske. Over for Petter. Petter back to Teske. Teske will take the shot, and it's tipped in front, and it was very much loose right there. The quick whistle bailing out the Mountaineers again.
That puck was absolutely sitting there right in front of the pad of Bernier. He hadn't covered it yet, but either so on both sides, Terps would have either had a chance to slot that one in, or Bernier probably could have easily covered that one within the next 1 or 2 seconds. That was a strange decision there from the officiating staff today.
Yet again, a quick whistle bailing out the Mountaineers, counted up to 3 this afternoon. James Body below the West Virginia net. Around the boards for Petter. Eli Petter with the long pass there finds Body. Body sends it up to Teske. Brian Teske surveys his options and chooses Petter on the far side with a shot blocker save. Body couldn't get the rebound. And West Virginia sends it down the ice with 1 minute left on the penalty to Sims. Brian Teske uses the boards to play for Petter. Sends it back to Teske. Teske, long pass there for Romps. Romps into the offensive end. He'll stop in the corner. Romps one-on-one against Best. Leaves for Warner. Warner trying to play it out to the point. That one skips over Doherty's stick, and Maryland's back in center. Colin Doherty dumping it into the offensive zone. Carter Brown there for the Mountaineers, and he'll send it out again. 27 seconds left on the penalty to Sims. Doherty now trying to feed it through center, intercepted by the Mountaineers, but Cam Horan reads that breakout pass of West Virginia and pushes it back in deep. Horan taking Brown into the boards. Rakowskis sets the puck on the near circle. Rakowskis down low to Romps, even lower to Blake Warner. Warner will ring it around the side. This is Doherty at the point. Doherty trying to play it down low. Ambrosi there, though, and he'll send it down the length of the ice and kill off the rest of this penalty to Sims. Back to 5-on-5 play here in the second period. Still 1-0 in favor of the Terps. Cam Horan checked there by Owen Ambrosi. Another big hit on the boards there, but Maryland's into the offensive zone. This is Rakowskis. Rakowskis sending it low for nobody home there. Warner with a keep in at the near side, though. To the point, Rakowskis, a long shot there, patted aside by Bernier. Corner. Nikolajski and Horan fighting for that puck. Horan comes out with it. Horan trying to knife his way to the front. In front. No! Blake Warner rings the iron. Sarah fans on the shot. Now gets it around Adam Scott. Warner taken down hard in front by Ambrosi as it's still loose there. A nice late deflection from Cam Horan. West Virginia upset with how close the Terps were standing to their netminder.
That was a really good chance there from Warner. Unfortunately, that one just ringing around the iron. We saw West Virginia struggling with hitting the iron last night, and it looks like the luck struggles are turning on to the Terps this afternoon. Nothing you can really do about that shot. Just unfortunate on the angle there.
Blake Warner ringing the iron in tight. A beautiful feed from Cam Horan to get Warner a golden opportunity in front. And the iron bails out Bernier there. West Virginia trying to clear that one out of the zone, but Dylan Young that was St. Onge, skies that right into the ceiling, so we'll reset to Bernier's right again. Wilson to go up against Sims at the dot again here. Face-off is won by Wilson. Sarah shot right off the face-off, goes just wide. Sarah in front, trying to feed Wilson, still loose for Vogel with a shot and a save by Bernier. Caden Vogel, a crunching hit on Colby Sims. Caden Vogel playing forward today, using his defensive mindset on that play. Wogish can't handle that pass. West Virginia back into center. Dylan Young sends that one right at Pharisee, and he will squeeze with 15-13 left here in the second period.
There's so many Terps right now who are stepping up so far in this game. It's really a great thing to see, even though some unforeseen lineup issues kind of led the Terps to go into this game a little bit uncertain. You're seeing guys play positions they're maybe not used to, and something kind of magical is coming from that, where they see they're trying super hard and they're playing with a lot of heart because of it, which leads to these big plays.
Face-off here won by Anderson. Young trying to send it down low. Wallace there for the Terps. Andrew Wallace trying to use his size to get possession there. It'll squirt out to Mohan. Good to see him back out on the ice so quick. Ryan Anderson, though, feeding it back deep again. Wallace there again for Maryland. And it ends up with Luke Mohan. Mohan finds Horan. Horan will dump this one in from the red line. Duchesne collects it on the near circle. Duchesne in front for Haran. One more pass. Couldn't get over to Mohan. West Virginia slowly pushes that one back into neutral. Wallace again right at Bernier there. Dylan Young uses the boards for St. Onge. To Weichel. Weichel finds Ambrosi. Owen Ambrosi across for Anderson. That one hits him in the skates, and it'll go behind Pharisee's net. Ryan Anderson facing some pressure from Rakowskis. Gets checked off that puck. Now a battle ensuing on the far boards. Luke Mohan kicks it forward and gets it to Haran. Haran will use the half wall to play this up to himself. Haran in a foot race with St. Onge now. Haran, another incredible individual effort as him and St. Onge both barrel into the West Virginia cage and take the post off. Cam Haran, such a hard-working player.
I believe that's why they gave him the Blue Collar Player of the Game award last night.
And these refs are telling West Virginia that since St. Onge initiated the contact on the goal, West Virginia cannot change their personnel.
Yeah, Cam Haran, just such a scrappy guy when he gets that lineup time. Really one of the bottom 6 guys for the Terps, so he's fighting every single day to be in this lineup, and he has really earned his spot tonight.
Romps with a win for Teske. A shot blocked down in front by Williams. Another shot from the point and a save by Bernier. At the point, held in by Eamon. He'll send it down low for Body behind the West Virginia cage. Body was trying to feed Romps in front there, intercepted by the Mountaineers. West Virginia will use the glass to get this one down. Sean Eamon chases for Maryland. Eamon with a nice stop-and-go move right there to get a breakout going. Doesn't get it past Dylan Williams, though. Brian Teske trying to provide support as Eamon lost his stick. Eamon now with a stick in hand again. Getting into defensive positioning. Here's Williams for the Mountaineers. Williams backhands it into the corner. Teske in a puck battle there with Gallagher. Two of them fighting for it. It squirts out in front. Loose still, and Pharisee another stop in tight. That one coming off the stick of Francis Gallagher. Colin Doherty slowing things down for Maryland. Doherty a nice stop-and-go move again. Doherty trying to feed Body off the boards. James Body trying to beat St. Onge in a foot race. He cannot. In the mind of the linesman, this will be icing on Maryland.
Terps bringing it all the way back with some tired guys on the ice, though, but some really nice stops from Pharisee just a few moments ago to, again, lock down the Terps' defensive zone. We saw this period be very offensive for the Terps so far, but, again, it all comes down to Pharisee at the other end. He's been really good so far this afternoon.
13:06 left here in the middle frame. Shots on goal, according to the Pharisee counter, is 23-16 in favor of Maryland. Romps and Scott getting ready to take the face-off here. Nice delay between this icing and this face-off drop for Maryland. They get a nice break for those tired skaters. Briggs a long shot. That one goes wide of Pharisee's blocker side. In front, Teske has to collect that puck before it gets more dangerous for West Virginia. And now Doherty's picking up speed. Doherty with a backhand feed for Warner. Blake Warner knifing in front and a backhand save by Bernier. Doherty still with the puck in the far corner. Doherty on the circle to the point for Petter. Petter a long shot. That one's tipped just high by Blake Warner. Warner behind the net takes down Best. And this is going to be a penalty on Blake Warner. Maryland's going shorthanded. Bernier on his way to the bench. Camden Briggs playing keep away now to try and set up a 6-on-5 while this delayed penalty's in effect. Colby Sims up ahead for Nikolajski. Nikolajski gets checked there by Facciano. Facciano trying his best to touch up there, and he finally will with 12:17 left. Blake Warner will head to the box.
What's the record for calls? You can do it. Keep going.
Just heard a voice from the stands go, "What's the record for calls? Come on, you can do it." And I can reiterate that because those are someone else's words and not mine, but definitely, yeah, a very interesting game tonight on both ends. We're going to have some 4-on-4 hockey for, looks like 11.
Well, it's not 4-on-4. Francis Gallagher's just in the box for West Virginia, so he must have been assessed a misconduct that they never announced. I'm confused right now. It's a power play with Blake Warner sitting in the box for Maryland. Tipped in front there and a save for Pharisee. He kicks it out, and Teske clears it the length of the ice. I feel like Francis Gallagher was on the ice fairly recently.
Yeah.
Not sure. You know, sometimes the officials do their thing, and It gets tough to keep up in this broadcast booth. Teske with another clear for Maryland. That one right at Bernier. He has to play it with his stick. Bernier leaves it behind the net for Briggs. Camden Briggs getting stalled up by Cam Haran, but now Sims gets it over the blue line. This is Colby Sims for West Virginia. Sims cruising behind the Maryland net. In front for Weichel. A shot by Anderson goes just high. Good one-time opportunity there, and number 42 in blue jammed it over Pharisee. Now Weichel still with it on the far corner. Sends it behind the net for Sims. Back over to Weichel. Weichel to the point. He chooses Starr. Starr for Weichel. Weichel on the far circle with a shot. That one goes wide. Ryan Anderson now on the near side facing some pressure from Haran. Cam Haran trying to get in that passing lane. Sean Amon will. Jake Weichel has to chase it. Amon, though, collects the puck. Can't get it past Starr at the point. Anderson still with the puck on the near side. Maryland trying to clear this one out. At the point, held in again by Starr. Starr sends it down low. Sean Amon there for the Terps, and now he gets it the length of the ice. Just 20 seconds left on the penalty to Blake Warner. Into the offensive zone, this is Williams. Williams gets hit hard by Sarah. Charlie Wogish collecting the puck, though, for West Virginia. Wogish has that pass intercepted by Petter. Petter will use the glass to get this one down and kill off the rest of the penalty time to Blake Warner. Another incredible set of penalty killing from this Maryland squad. Luke Starr looping behind his net. Leaves for Owen Ambrosi. Ambrosi, West Virginia's lone goal scorer an evening ago. Feeds McCusker. McCusker gets taken down by Warner, and Warner takes the puck. Warner was trying to get it over to Doherty there, but Jacob Hollander got in that passing lane. Hollander stalled up by the Terps defensive core and ends up back in neutral as that was James Romps who got, it appeared to be slashed in his own blue line. Big hit behind the net there, and a long-range shot from McCusker sticked aside by Pharisee into the netting. And now Dylan Williams is throwing punches. Blake Warner comes in to defend Eli Petter. Dylan Williams throwing punches after Eli Petter very clearly not accepting that fight after the whistle.
Yeah, this was bound to happen at some point. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more physicality after the whistle sooner. I mean, I'm surprised this one didn't even really turn up too much of a pile up, but.
Dylan Williams being escorted. We'll see if they take him to the box or the bench. Williams on his way to the box.
Assuming probably a roughing call on him there, but Terps.
West Virginia still has 5 skaters on the ice. So what are these officials doing? I'm sorry. Like, I try to stay as level-headed as possible, but this has honestly been pathetic at points today. I have no words for what I've seen throughout this game.
It's definitely tough in such an important game, too, and I truly hope somebody in a higher-up power.
Oh, Dylan Williams walked out of the box and he's back on the West Virginia bench. That's what happened. So there is no penalty on the play. That's what they did. I see.
Yeah.
Got it. At the point, this is McCusker. McCusker, a long shot, is blocked by Warner, and Pharisee had to be ready as it turned into a deflection opportunity.
It's a gusty play by Warner, but an unfortunate bounce there led to an even better save by Pharisee. Good effort there from both of them. But yeah, Maryland still has to fend this one off in their own defensive zone here at full strength.
Wilson to go up against Scott right here. Wilson with the face-off win. It's taken by Maryland. Wallace punches it forward for Facciano. Warner deflects that one, but Dylan Young picks it up for West Virginia. Young finds Nikolajski. Nikolajski has that puck taken off his stick by Warner. Blake Warner dumping that deep into the West Virginia end. Around the board, Sean Sullivan trying to corral this puck for the Mountaineers. He'll send it across for Nikolajski. And Nikolajski's now in neutral with Sullivan. Here comes Sullivan over the blue line. Sullivan darting to the far circle. Sullivan couldn't quite get around Wallace there. Sullivan maybe trying to do a little bit too much himself on that play. Scott at the point for McCusker. That shot goes way high. Warner with a pickup on the far boards, but he can't get it past the point. It's held in by Young. Young sending it down deep. Wallace there for Maryland in a puck battle with Sullivan. Nikolajski with the puck gives it to Sullivan. Sullivan for McCusker. McCusker a long shot. That one goes wide of Pharisee on the glove side. Warner trying to get over the blue line, can't quite get it past Adam Scott. And now here comes Scott. Gets stalled up by Wallace, and now Wallace gets it into neutral. Maryland can change. Travis Duchesne trying to work 1-on-2 to finish up a line change for the Terps. And they do. This is Young. Young pressured hard by Mohan there. He'll stall him up for a moment, and now Young dumps it in. Pharisee out of his net to play this one, leaves for Wallace. Andrew Wallace, though, can't corral it, and now Wogish has the puck on the far side. At the point, it's Brown. Brown for McCusker. McCusker a shot. That one's deflected out of play by Travis Duchesne. Nice job from number 24 to get in that shooting lane.
Yeah, again, you're seeing a lot of defensive plays here from guys who obviously aren't usually thinking defense number one. Travis Duchesne there, usually a big power forward, using his stick in the right place at the right time to send that one over the fence.
Yeah, so we've determined that the only thing that makes sense is Francis Gallagher picked up a 10-minute penalty at some point that they never announced in arena, making our job 10 times harder. Teskey with a takedown there on the far boards. Luke Mohan takes the puck for Maryland. Mohan and Duchesne cross each other up, but Haran tries to play it deep, taken away by Brown for the Mountaineers. Brown has that pass intercepted by Sean Amon. Amon will send it the other way, but St. Owens trying to push it back for West Virginia. Now here comes Haran. Cam Haran with speed. Shot blocked there by Brown. Luke Mohan trying to corral that loose puck. Sends it deep for Haran. Haran in front for Mohan. He couldn't get a shot off cleanly. Now this is Brown. Carter Brown finds Sims. Sims picking up speed, taken down by Teskey, and this is going to be a trip on Maryland. Maryland's captain and one of their key penalty killers will be sitting for the next 2 minutes. Colby Sims using his speed to draw the penalty right there.
We're going to see what Maryland's going to do with their already abbreviated penalty kill. Looks like they're going to go with Romps, Doherty, Sarah, and Petter. We've seen some big promise so far today from this penalty kill, and it could be a big momentum turner if they're able to succeed these 2 minutes. So if Maryland can really make it through again these next 2 minutes, I think they're going to come out better on the other end.
Hollander to take this face-off for West Virginia against James Romps. Romps wins it back for Sarah. Sarah will send it the long way to Doherty. Doherty down low for Petter. Petter trying to get over the blue line. He will. Collected in center by Starr. Hollander trying to get in the offensive zone. Ambrosi stalled up his teammate, and Sarah can send it the full length of the ice now. Some miscommunication by the Mountaineers, and the Terps take advantage to kill off the early seconds of this penalty to Brian Teskey. Now this is Ambrosi. Ambrosi for Wogish. Charlie Wogish into the offensive zone. Sarah there for Maryland one-on-one against Wogish. The two of them run into each other, and behind the net, West Virginia's got it with Hollander. Jacob Hollander for Ambrosi. Ambrosi at the point with a shot, saved by Pharisee. Rebound still loose. That one jammed wide by Weichel in front. Ambrosi with a shot, saved by Pharisee. Romps trying to kick it out. He can't get it all the way. It's held in by Starr. This is Starr, a long shot, deflected by Hollander and out of play. And the Maryland crowd to our right is starting to get really excited here in West Virginia.
Really liking how that newer penalty kill looked there with those specific skaters. It seemed like everybody really had a big part to play at some point during those first few seconds here. We still have 37 seconds left to fend off as Maryland switches those guys off. Let's see what the next group can do.
Haran against Sims at the dot here. Sims with the face-off win. It's Anderson now for West Virginia. Anderson being pressured hard by Duchesne. Sims comes away with the puck. Now it's Briggs. Camden Briggs, long-range shot blocked by Duchesne, but it's still loose for Weichel. Couple of Mountaineers poking at it. Briggs ends up with the puck, but he can't get the shot off cleanly, and Duchesne pokes it through center. Great penalty killing there from Travis Duchesne, stalling up multiple long-range opportunities for Camden Briggs. Now this is Anderson. Ryan Anderson on the near circle. Anderson, a little spin move there. Trying to knife inside. A shot from the dot goes well wide of Pharisee. Rebound was lively off the boards, and Pharisee had to scramble back. It didn't look like it got all the way to him. Briggs trying to cross in front. Duchesne got in that passing lane, and now it's back in neutral. Travis Duchesne, another big defensive play in his own end on the kill. Down to 5 seconds left on the penalty to Teskey. Camden Briggs gets stalled up, and that's back in center as Teskey comes out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5 play yet again. Blake Warner, a nice hit, and here comes Wilson. Chase Wilson in a low backhand save by Bernier. Rebound for Facciano. He sends it high. Blake Warner, a crunching hit on George Best. Maryland keeping up the pressure, and it's getting loud in here. Colby Sims trying to take the puck for West Virginia. He feeds it up for Anderson. Anderson, though, loses it to Facciano. Facciano keeping up the pressure for Maryland. Facciano in front. Wilson can't get the shot off cleanly. He's taken down, though. Penalty upcoming. A Maryland power play on the horizon.
There we go. I said a few minutes ago, if the Terps could kill those last 2 minutes of penalty time, what happens after that is going to be magical when they're at full strength. And now they've got something even better. Up a man now. We're going to get another look at this power play here. 4:39 left to play here in the second period. Terps still up 1-0, but we've got some uneven strength hockey to look forward to for 2 minutes here.
Maryland with 2 power play strikes last night. So far, their man advantage has been unsuccessful today, but another opportunity here. This is Teskey. Teskey sending it down low for Amon. James Body there as well. Body will feed it out for Petter. Eli Petter on the far circle. Back to the point for Teskey. Teskey backhands it over to Petter again. Back up for Teskey. Teskey takes the long shot, tipped in front by Body, and a nice save from Bernier. This is Petter with a long shot. Rebound lively there. Jake Weichel trying to get out of harm's way, and he gets it into neutral. Good play from the Mountaineer captain there to wipe out a dangerous rebound on the penalty kill. Sean Amon sending it into the offensive zone, but Maryland not quite there yet. Carter Brown will send this, but not past Amon. What a keep in there. Amon, a shot saved by Bernier, and he'll squeeze.
That was a great glove from Amon. You know, that's something you learn when you play baseball or something like that. Straight instinct up there, sticking his glove up to just snag that one in midair. That looked like it was going a lot higher, but no. Amon was able to read that one, keep it in, and had a nice shot chance there in all alone. Bernier with a better save, though, right at the chest.
3:56 left here in the second period. 1:19 left on the Maryland power play. This is Rakauskas. Rakauskas, a nice job to keep that in despite the pressure from Williams. Rakauskas now taking it low. Rakauskas back to the point for Horan. One touch over to Doherty. Doherty sends it down around the boards. James Romps will be the first one there. Romps back up for Rakauskas. Rakauskas surveying his options. Will take the shot. Tipped in front by Warner, and a nice save from Bernier. West Virginia sending that one the length of the ice, down to 48 seconds left on the Maryland man advantage. This is Romps. Finds Horan. Horan will send it across for Doherty. Colin Doherty on the far circle. He'll spin. Doherty for Rakauskas. Back over to Doherty. Doherty, long shot there, goes wide of the cage. Blake Warner, though, picking up the rebound off the boards for Maryland. Warner to Rakauskas. Rakauskas back for Doherty. Doherty, a nice move there, trying to feed it in tight. A backhand, and Bernier gets over to the far side. Colin Doherty showing some offensive instincts on this power play opportunity. Can't quite get it past Bernier, though.
Yeah, that was great there, and the reason he was able to get in so tight is it was almost like him and Rakauskas telepathically kind of decided to switch spots there. Rakauskas gave a pretty nonchalant feed to Doherty, as he was circling in behind him here, which allowed him to really crash in on these near boards pretty undetected.
15 more seconds on the penalty to Sims. Maryland with a new set of skaters on the ice. Eli Petter collecting it in neutral, has to dump it in, and that'll kill off the remainder of this power play time as West Virginia sends it the length of the ice. Colby Sims back out on the ice officially, so back to 5-on-5 play with 2.5 left here in the middle frame. Andre Serra using the boards, can't quite get it past Briggs. Henry Scriven, though, collects the puck for Maryland. Scriven trying to feed a long pass there for Wilson. That one read by Adam Scott. Briggs taken down by Scriven. You've got to be kidding me.
Looks like they're going to be taking Scriven off here for that tie-up with Ambrosi on our near boards. We're going to get the official call in just a moment, but another officiating decision that doesn't go the Terps' way. Looks like it's a big
They call it a
trip.
kneeing.
A kneeing.
They said Henry Scriven delivered a knee-on-knee hit right there in neutral, and just, if you're Maryland, it's been the story of this one so far.
It's almost as bad as embellishment.
Ambrosi across for Wogish. Wogish, a long shot, deflected on its way. A nice pad save for Pharisee. Rebound still loose. It's kept in at the point by Starr. Starr, though, has that pass intercepted by Duchesne, and Duchesne rips it right at Bernier the length of the ice. This is Wogish. Charlie Wogish trying to get around Haran. He can't, so Wogish just dumps it in. Pharisee decides not to leave his net, and this is going to turn into a 5-on-3, it appears. We'll see if they call Haran or Wogish. Haran lost his helmet, but they blew the whistle when Andre Serra touched the puck. And thankfully, they take off Charlie Wogish there.
Yeah.
So a mistimed whistle from the officiating crew, but we get 4-on-4 hockey.
I want to say that whistle might have been because Haran lost his helmet. I think they saw that first before they saw Serra touch the puck. That's my assumption there. But Maryland gets a good break there as they're going to go again for another 4-on-4 opportunity. Maryland, if they can obviously outskate West Virginia here with a lot of open ice and capitalize off any breakaway chances they can get, they're going to be good here. We have 1:51 left to play in the second period, so 1:51 left.
Minute 32 of 4-on-4 as Wogish sits in the box. Dylan Young trying to get around Doherty. Doherty stalling him up on the far boards. James Romps joins the fight, and Romps plays it up to the point for Petter. Now for Serra. Serra with room has that shot blocked by Anderson, and now here comes St. Onge. West Virginia trying to get an odd man rush. Maryland a good job staying back. Eli Petter. Hard around the boards for Doherty. That one skips over his stick, and Young collecting it for the Mountaineers. This is Ambrosi. Ambrosi across to Young. Dylan Young on the far side will chip this into the offensive end. Andre Serra feeds for Doherty. Doherty back over to Serra. Serra dangles it around Anderson. And now trying to feed Romps, that one a little bit behind him, and Dylan Young will take it again for the Mountaineers. Under a minute to go in the second period, 33 more seconds of 4-on-4. This is Ambrosi. Ambrosi has that pass read by the Terps, and now Chase Wilson trying to get into the offensive zone. Blake Warner finds that loose puck. Long shot, Wilson, tip in front, save Bernier, rebound covered up by Jackson Bernier. A beautiful play from Chase Wilson and Blake Warner right there, nearly giving the Terps a 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, West Virginia, they're known to being pretty suspectful there on those stretch passes. That's when those interceptions are going to happen with them specifically. Chase Wilson read that pass beautifully there and was able to almost set up Warner effectively. Those two are so in sync. We have 37 seconds left to go here and another draw to make something happen.
Wilson with the face-off win at the point. It's Amon, a long shot, still loose in front. Wilson couldn't get there first. Sean Amon is trying to keep the pressure up for Maryland. He's got the puck now. With space, he shoots that one off the blocker of Bernier. George Best trying to get it out. Weichel will. As Scrivens out of the box, it's a Maryland power play. This one right at Jackson Bernier. Camden Briggs will hold the puck. Maryland still on the power play. Briggs just trying to kill out the rest of this period. Briggs skating with it. Camden Briggs picking up speed. Camden Briggs a long shot. That one's deflected by Teske into the netting. Right at 000s. They'll let this one have the fractional time tick off and go to intermission.
Again, a super exciting period there tonight in Morgantown. Terps still holding a 1-0 lead over the Mountaineers, but some super gusty hockey from both sides we saw here. A lot of guys stepping up, a lot of guys playing positions they're not used to, and it has been an incredible show because of that.
Maryland still defending a 1-goal lead. Bailey and I will be back for the third and final period of play in Morgantown in about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network for this third and final period of play here in Morgantown between the Terps and the Mountaineers. My name is Andy Parr, joined alongside Bailey Unchester. And Bailey, as we enter this third period, the score, courtesy of Henry Scriven, still 1-0 in favor of the Terps.
Yeah, the Terps definitely playing a very physical game against the Mountaineers tonight, but they are still only up by 1. We have 20 minutes left to play, and these Mountaineers are going to be hungry to tally this game up at any point within these next 20 minutes.
As we enter this third period, our Pharisee shot counter is at 36 for Maryland to 19 for West Virginia. Maryland still on a power play for another couple of seconds here as we begin this frame. Wogish already out of the box, though. That'll end the man advantage. Blake Warner with the puck. Warner for Facciano. Facciano dumps this in from center. Bernier forced to stick it into the corner. Carter Brown there for West Virginia. Brown around the net. Blake Warner there for Maryland trying to feed Facciano in front. That one's intercepted by Scott. Now this is Scott working 1-on-2. Scott poke check there by Eli Petter, and Andre Serra does the rest to push it towards the blue line. And now Eli Petter sends it down the ice, and this will be an icing on Maryland early in this third frame.
Puck's going to go all the way back down as we tick off just over 40 seconds so far of this first period. Both teams back at even strength.
Blake Warner tried to pull off a sneaky little line change there after the icing. Officials telling him to get off the Maryland bench.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Always worth a shot. Colby Sims and Chase Wilson getting ready at the dot here. Wilson wins it back for Serra. Serra will use the half wall to play it up for Facciano. Facciano just pokes this one into neutral, and now Maryland can change their forward personnel. This is Briggs, a long shot. That one's squeezed by Pharisee. Just a few more seconds ticking off the clock there. Still less than a minute gone into this third period. Sims and Mohan getting ready at the faceoff dot. Sims with the win, back for Wogish. Haran pokes at it. Briggs keeps it in, though, and sends it deep. First one there is going to be Eli Petter for Maryland. Hollander can't find the puck. Luke Mohan will send it around the side. Briggs there for the Mountaineers. Briggs facing some pressure from Duchesne. Has an ill-advised pass taken by Mohan. And now this is Haran with Mohan. Mohan on the far circle leaves for Haran. Haran a shot. That one's squeezed by Bernier as Luke Mohan was getting ready to try and tap a rebound.
Yeah, that was a good setup from that whole line there. And it looked like they had all the room in the world as it looked like Briggs blew a tire as he was trying to fend off that push. So really not a lot of defense back for West Virginia. That's how Doherty was able to get that nice shot off.
Mohan and Sims getting set at the dot here. Mr. Brightside being played in the arena. Sims wins the faceoff. Briggs has it for West Virginia. Briggs up ahead for Wogish. Wogish can't handle that pass, and Rakowskis sends it right back at Bernier. Bernier blockers it over to the corner for Best. George Best will send it across the ice. Andrew Wallace, first one there. Wallace up ahead for Mohan. Luke Mohan, 1-on-2. Mohan with a shot off the pad of Bernier there. Rebound for Rakowskis. That one looked like it was going wide. Bernier still patting it into the corner. Rakowskis recollecting it in neutral. Sends it over for Wallace. Wallace dumping it into the offensive zone. James Body applying some light pressure at the near point. Rakowskis can't hold it in. Romps will chase and play it over to the side where Weichel reads that pass and stalls it up. Andrew Wallace now with the puck. This is Rakowskis. Back over to Wallace. Wallace will use the boards. It's taken by Ambrosi. Ambrosi, a shot saved by Pharisee. The rebound score. Ryan Anderson finds the loose puck after Pharisee stopped Ambrosi on the wraparound, and we're tied at 1 in the third.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate turnover there behind the Maryland net that allowed West Virginia to reset and get a couple chances there in front of Pharisee. He stopped a few at first, but unfortunately you just have so many guys crashing in on that net. So many sticks for a rebound to get onto, and West Virginia is able to pot that one past him. We are tied up 1-1 here as West Virginia records the first goal in about a period and a half.
Yeah, West Virginia has been stalled up hard by Maryland this weekend. Only one goal last night, and it takes them until the third period to strike today. But that tally from Ryan Anderson ties this game at 1. Body trying to get it into the offensive zone. It's stalled up by a couple of Mountaineers, and now Dylan Young has the puck for West Virginia across to St. Onge. St. Onge up ahead for Anderson. Deflects that puck right to Sean Amon. Amon sending it the other way. This is Doherty. Colin Doherty trying to play it deep into the offensive end. St. Onge chasing it for West Virginia. Onge facing some light pressure from James Body. That was a weird pass that deflects off the skate of Colin Doherty. Back to get is Eli Petter. Petter up ahead. Doherty deflecting that one. No ice here. This is Starr. Starr for West Virginia has that pass. Find its way to Dylan Williams. Williams trying to get into the offensive zone. Stalled up there by a couple of Terps. Pharisee out of his net to play this one for Serra. Andre Serra up ahead for Scriven. Scriven using the boards. Now it's a foot race between Wilson and Starr. Starr will get there first. Chase Wilson overskates it, and now West Virginia going the other way. This is Williams. Dylan Williams. 1-on-2 in the offensive end for West Virginia, trying to get around Petter. Williams score. Dylan Williams picking the far side past Pharisee on the blocker. And just like that, West Virginia struck twice in a minute.
Williams had pretty much an impossible angle on that one. Somehow he's still able to wrap it and sneak it right there on that far post of Pharisee, who just wasn't able to cover that far angle from the angle that Williams shot it at.
Maryland entering the frame with a 1-goal lead. Just over 3 minutes into the third. West Virginia already up 2-1. Maryland looking for the comeback now. This is Rakowskis. Rakowskis skating around a couple of Mountaineers will force it up for Haran. Luke Starr picks that off and sends it down the other way. Nikolajski and Rakowskis behind the Maryland net fighting for the puck around the boards. It's picked up by Cam Haran. Haran trying to use his body to play it forward. Finds Mohan over to Haran. Back to the other side, Duchesne. Duchesne, a long shot that goes just wide of Bernier. This is Mohan. Mohan to the opposite point for Wallace. Wallace has a shot that's muffled wide. Haran in front for Mohan, doesn't get the shot off. Wallace long-range blast blocked down by Nikolajski. Haran a sharp angle shot. Rebound, Duchesne saved by Bernier again. Rakowskis can't keep it in at the point. Jackson Bernier back-to-back 10 bellers on the Terps right there. Andrew Wallace resetting things for the Terps, leaving for Rakowskis. Jack Rakowskis spins around Wogish. Will play it up for Body. Body, though, checked off that puck, and now George Best has it for the Mountaineers. Best up ahead, has that pass read by Wallace, plays it over to Rakowskis. Rakowskis feeding Body, or no, Briggs gets in the way. Camden Briggs on the far circle, diting to the middle, and it's blocker save. Rebound to Hollander, trying to force that in front. It's blocked down by Andrew Wallace. Hollander still with the puck. Hollander leaves for Best. Best backhanding it into the corner for Wogish. Charlie Wogish sending it down low for Sims. Colby Sims playing it to the point. It's Best again. Best a long shot that goes just high. Wogish with the rebound in front. Pharisee sticking that one to a teammate. Doherty, though, can't get the puck out. Sims keeps the pressure on. Sims down low for Wogish. That one kicks into the corner. Wogish to Sims. Sims back up for Briggs. Briggs over to Sims on the near circle. Colby Sims rotating with Briggs. Briggs down low. Briggs trying to get a wrap there. Good adjustment from Andrew Wallace to cut off that angle. Now Hollander back over for Sims. Great zone time here for the Mountaineers as Briggs takes a shot. Hollander in front and a save by Pharisee, and he'll cover it up. Lots of zone time there for West Virginia. Jack Pharisee finally gives the Terps a breather.
Hollander there was waiting on that post. If anything, though, he was maybe a little bit too deep. So when he did get that puck to him, he wasn't really able to wrap it around on Pharisee because he just didn't have a great angle on it. Pharisee, though, still coming up with a save on the attempt, but Terps got to clear this out.
Chase Wilson with a face-off win back to Amon. Sean Amon trying to get a breakout going. You can hear a lot of yelling on the ice. Amon trying to play it forward for Facciano. Anderson reads that pass, and now he's out the other way. This is Ryan Anderson. Anderson checked hard by Teskey there. Facciano, though, can't get it past Weichel. Weichel down low. Anderson and Amon fighting for the puck. Anderson comes out with it. Anderson trying to leave for Ambrosi. Ambrosi sends it to the other side. Facciano there for Maryland. Terps tip it into neutral. Blake Warner trying to get there first. St. Onge will send it the other way. West Virginia in need of a change. We'll let Maryland take this puck with Petter. This is Amon. Aiming for Scriven. That pass just offline. Mohan trying to beat St. Onge to the dots, and he will. No ice here. Brady St. Onge facing some pressure. Gets tied up with a defensive partner in front. Oh, Mohan couldn't get the shot off. Eli Petter down low for Scriven. Scriven chasing Gallagher into the corner. At the point, it's held in by Sarah. Sarah down to Scriven. Scriven for Mohan. Mohan takes the shot. That one deflected over the netting and into the crowd.
Home run there for Mohan, but some good chances for number 12 in Mered. He had a lot of real estate there on that last shot, but unfortunately just sticked away there at the last second. Terps still going with these same guys, though, who have had some good zone time within the past few seconds here.
Mohan against Gallagher. Gallagher wins it into the corner for Brown. Carter Brown looking for a breakout pass. He gets Rogers. Rogers up ahead for Gallagher. Gallagher trying to feed in front. That one's right at Pharisee. Sarah hits Gallagher on the play. Maryland bench a big fan of that one as Gallagher got run into the train tracks by Maryland's big number 9.
Yeah, Andre Serra is not a guy you want to be alone with anywhere near a board because he is going to flatten you 9 out of 10 times. He shows Gallagher up there, who has had a bit of trouble this weekend on the ice. So big defensive play there from Andre Serra.
Romps to go up against Scott at the faceoff dot here in the corner. Romps trying to play it out, but it's kept in at the point by Brown. That shot goes wide. This is Nikolajski now. Nikolajski has that puck taken away by Sarah. At the point, it's held in for the moment by Starr. Sarah trying to get it out again. High bouncing puck. It ends up on the stick of Sean Sullivan, and now Eli Petter takes it for Maryland. Petter, though, checked off the puck there by Sullivan. Sullivan trying to generate a chance in front and never got home. This is Doherty. Doherty leaves for Petter. Eli Petter, long stretch pass there. He was looking for body. That one intercepted by Starr. Doherty, though, able to chip it into the offensive end. James Romps, the first one there. Romps in front for body, and he couldn't quite shoot that one. Jackson Bernier getting his stick in that passing lane. This is Brown. Brown dumping it into the offensive zone. Hit hard there by Andrew Wallace. Nikolajski ends up with the puck. Nikolajski at the point now, it's Best. Best with a long-range shot. That one goes wide. Romps up to Body. Body, a nice move there to get around Wogish. Now Body, a shot from the far circle going wide of the West Virginia cage. Rakowskis will recollect the rebound in center. Andrew Wallace getting around Best. Wallace now one-on-one against Brown. Puck squirts into the corner, and now West Virginia's got it with Sims. Sims trying to get around Rakowskis. That one rolling right to Pharisee. He'll cover. 11:15 left in the third period. Maryland trailing by 1.
Sims doing a really nice job to try and dangle around Rakowskis there. Rakowskis tracking him the entire way, leading to a pretty weak shot that Pharisee was able to cover.
Sims getting set against Mohan here. Sims wins it back for Wogish. That shot well wide of Pharisee. Rebound caroms all the way into the West Virginia defensive zone for Briggs. Briggs around to Best. George Best will use the boards to try and play it up for Wogish. Luke Mohan doing everything he can to stall up that pass. Two of them still fighting for the puck, loose in the zone. Haran gets it right at Bernier. A sneaky shot there from Cam Haran. Behind the net, Briggs recollecting it for the Mountaineers. Camden Briggs slowing things down. Across to Best. George Best, one-on-one against Teskey. Teskey gets the better of him there, and now this is Amon. Sean Amon slowing down in center. Amon will dump this into the offensive zone as he needs a change. Bernier out of his net to play it. Best will send it around the side to Ambrosi. Ambrosi facing some pressure there. Will try and play it over for Sims, who's able to push it into center. Eli Petter there for Maryland, but that puck deflects into the Terp bench, and we get a whistle.
10:16 left to go here in the third period. Terps are now down 2-1 to the Mountaineers. Still some good chances in there on Bernier, but now again, some defense is needed on the other end of the ice.
Anderson against Romps. Linesman telling Henry Scriven he inched in a little bit too close there. Anderson wins the faceoff. Now in the corner, it's Sarah for Maryland. Sarah trying to use the edge to get it over for Vogel. Caden Vogel using the glass. He's able to push it into center where Young is there for West Virginia, but Romps with a takeaway. Romps with a shot save, rebound, another one by Bernier. Jackson Bernier seems to be locked in so far in this third period. He's been unbelievable so far this frame. Now it's Petter. Getting taken down right at the West Virginia blue line. Penalty upcoming. Power play for Maryland here. This will be McCusker going to the box for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Petter there drawing what I'm assuming is going to be a bit of a trip. And saw some figure skating moves from him there to try and stay on his feet. That must have been like a triple or quadruple axel there from him. He spun around on the ice. And
Liam McCusker pleading his case to the officials, saying he also ended up on the ice. Maryland, though, with a power play to try and tie up this game in the third.
Some melodic music right now. Some piano.
Eli Petter controls it. Over for Teske. Teske, long shot. That one's deflected wide. Petter in front. Body was trying to tip it in tight. Now Body with it behind the net. Body getting the angle for Duchesne. He couldn't pull the trigger. Over to the corner for Amon. Amon in front. Duchesne back over to Amon. Sean Amon trying to reset it. To the point, it's Teske. Teske to the far circle for Amon. Across to the near side, it's Petter. Eli Petter back up for Teske. Teske down low to Petter again. Across. Amon. Amon back up. Teske one time, and it's blocked by Duchesne in front. Sean Amon still with it on the far circle. Amon. Teske bombs away again. It's still loose in front. Duchesne trying to get there, and Adam Scott will send it down the ice for West Virginia. Some good setups from the Maryland power play there, and Teske's wasting no time trying to hit a stretch pass, but Weichel takes it away. That one right off the blocker of Pharisee. Doherty slowing things down with Petter. Petter dangerously sending that one Pharisee's direction. Now Romps recollecting the Maryland offense. This is Doherty. Colin Doherty with under a minute to go on the Maryland power play. Doherty in the corner gets it out for Romps. Romps behind the West Virginia net looking for a passing lane. We'll send it to the point. It's Rakauskas. Rakauskas to Doherty. Doherty on the far circle, back up for Rakauskas. Rakauskas back to Doherty again. Doherty will shoot it, and it's saved by Bernier in the corner. Briggs trying to get it, held in by Rakauskas. Jack Rakauskas down low. Blake Warner there. This will be a penalty on the Terps, and after the play, James Romps gets taken down. Cam Horan defending his teammates. We got a lot of extracurriculars after the whistle, but definitely an initial signal for a penalty on Blake Warner before that full scrum ensued.
I'm assuming they're going to be taking off Warner for a cross check here from some pushing in front of the net. We're going to see if they even it up at all, though, which could be pretty big for the Terps.
Briggs being escorted by an official. We'll see if they take him to the box or to the bench. And Camden Briggs is going to the box. So it appears to stay at a 5-on-4 for Maryland. Or sorry, it'll be a 4-on-3.
That's huge, though. I mean, you can't do that if you're West Virginia. You just had a free 2 minutes there on an obvious cross-check from Blake Warner. And then with that extracurricular happening after the play, the Terps doing a really good job to kind of bait that fighting in, which
they end up calling them coincidental, so it remains 5-on-4. Warner will have to sit in the box with Briggs for the next 2 minutes plus a whistle. Maryland still with a power play for a little bit longer. Duchesne to the point for Petter. Across Teske. Teske down for Amon on the far circle. Sean Amon. Back up Teske. Long shot saved by Bernier. St. Onge trying to clear it out. It's held in by Petter. Down low for Body. James Body looking for a lane. He finds Petter. Eli Petter trying to feed it in front. St. Onge got in the way there, and now Adam Scott will send it into neutral as McCusker's out of the box, and we're back to 5-on-5 play. Eli Petter slowing things down. Petter, as Teske was changing, that was nearly dangerous for the Terps, but Sean Amon collects the puck. Loses it to Sean Sullivan, but Duchesne with a keep in at the point for the moment, and now it's in neutral. Rakauskas finding Amon. Amon working one-on-one against Dylan Young. Body hit up high by Sullivan, and that's going to be a penalty there. Sean Sullivan clipping James Body with a high stick, so Maryland back to work on the power play. One more opportunity to try and tie this up with a man advantage.
The Terps really need to capitalize on this right now. I mean, West Virginia, 2 self-inflicted errors there, really close, when that could have been a tough break for the Terps going on the, penalty kill there from Blake Warner's cross-check. Now, though, West Virginia, as I was saying, 2 back-to-back penalties.
If I'm Maryland, I would call my timeout here. Does not appear Joe Carter and the Terps coaching staff will make that choice. Body doing everything he can to try and get this face-off to the point, and Petter has it now. Petter, long shot, deflected by Body, just wide. Teske on the far point. Teske, long-range shot, saved by Bernier in the corner. Carter Brown, first one there, but Teske holds it in at the far side. Teske, down to Amon. Amon facing some pressure, and now Starr able to send it down the ice for West Virginia. Maryland trying to get set back up on the power play with Teske. Up for Petter. Across to Romps. James Romps with speed on the far circle. Romps now behind the West Virginia net. Surveying his options. Leaves for Petter. Petter in front. Body score! James Body! We're tied at 2!
James Body, point machine. He is able to bring the Terps back in reach. We are tied here. Some power play time for the Terps. Finally goes their way here in the third period tonight off a beautiful strike from James Body and some really hard-working power play time from the rest of that line out there.
That was an incredible individual effort from James Romps to maintain possession down low. He switched with Eli Petter, and James Body finds the gap in the West Virginia defense to tap that one over the glove side of Jackson Bernier. What a goal from the Terps there to tie up the score.
I think this has been my favorite Terps game so far this season, just watching them play right now. Again, a different lineup that they're working with, some off-ice issues the team is trying to work through, and yet these guys here still showed up to play, and they are performing so well. There's not a single guy I can think of who has been making mistakes. Everybody is, again, really showing their true hard-working colors tonight.
And Terps fans, you may have noticed James Body changed up his signature celebration after that goal. He was getting mocked by a couple of people in the morning breakfast for the way that he celebrates. James Body going to one knee that time. Pure joy from number 15 in red.
There is a videographer tonight, so good for him. That will probably be clipped in very high definition.
Cam Horan using the glass to send it back in. New life in this Maryland crowd. Mohan trying to feed Duchesne. That one's read by Hollander. Now with Wogish. Charlie Wogish for Sims. Sims back to the point. Nobody home as West Virginia was changing their defensive personnel. This is Best. Best chipping it in over the red line. Jack Rakowski's first one there. We'll play it slowly for Wallace. Wallace now fighting for it with Sims. Charlie Wogish and Jack Rakowskis joining the fight behind the Maryland cage. Wogish ends up with the puck. Out to the point. That's McCusker. Down for Wogish. For Sims. Sims behind the Maryland cage gets taken down, no call. Sims very loudly expressing his displeasure with the official standing right there. Andrew Wallace trying to play this up for Maryland. Can't quite get it over the blue line there, and now he does. It's James Body. Body into the offensive zone. 2-on-1 developing. Body shot. Saved by Bernier. Romps couldn't get to the rebound. McCusker carrying it now for West Virginia, 1-on-2. McCusker, he's going to leave it down low as he's in need of a line change. Petter up ahead to Doherty. Colin Doherty on the near circle. Doherty trying to knife in front. That one rolling right to Bernier. He'll cover it up with 4:37 remaining in this third period. Some new pace of play here in Morgantown.
The Terps are playing so intense right now, and I absolutely love it. I mean, you're seeing so much from so many of them. I keep saying this, but it's incredible to watch them play tonight specifically. It's not really like anything we've seen so far this season.
This feels like a high grit game for
Yeah.
Maryland today. Eli Petter at the near point. Petter, a long range shot blocked down by Owen Ambrosi. Ahead he finds Weichel. Weichel, poke check there by Sarah. Delayed offside West Virginia. Now they check up. They're good as Ryan Anderson dumps it in. Sarah on the far side of his defensive zone, tries to feed Petter. Petter pushes it into the corner at the point, held in by Brown, sending it right to Pharisee. That one deflected dangerously close to the Maryland cage. Now here comes Facciano. Facciano one-on-one against Brown. Facciano being pressured hard, and Brown comes out with the puck. Carter Brown slowing things down. Facciano getting on his horse back to the Maryland bench as he needs a change. Carter Brown in neutral. Leaves for Best. George Best into the offensive zone. Sean Amon, first one there. Amon around the side for Duchesne. Duchesne, though, hit in the boards. Luke Mohan, a big hit on Anderson, and Cam Horan comes away with the puck. Horan 1-on-2. Horan going to the far side of the offensive zone, trying to play it in front. George Best picking it up for the Mountaineers. Best leaves to Briggs. Camden Briggs up ahead trying to feed Williams. This will be no ice here as Pharisee is forced to cover it up. Right off the boards, Jack Pharisee pouncing to his right to get on top of that puck.
He's taking no chances right now, especially with that one. He had, I believe it was Brown, crashing in with a lot of speed there. But that puck was just moving a little bit too quickly for him to catch up to it. Pharisee, an easy cover there for him off of that wall rebound.
Adam Scott taking an offensive zone draw for West Virginia against James Romps. Deep breaths on both sides. Romps wins it for Maryland. Loose puck finds its way to Colin Doherty. Doherty up ahead trying to find Romps there. He couldn't quite corral that pass, but no ice here. Briggs had a chance to play it. Now he will. Camden Briggs behind the West Virginia net nearly overskated that into his own cage. Now he'll really slow things down. Briggs facing some pressure there from Romps. Plays it up ahead to Nikolajski. Nikolajski into the offensive zone. Sarah there for Maryland, though. Trying to play it forward. Adam Scott stalls it up for the moment. Now Sullivan and Body in the boards against each other. Behind the Maryland cage, Eli Petter picks it up, bringing it around the side to Doherty. Doherty sends it across for Body. James Body catching up to that pass. Body 1-on-3 into the offensive end. Ends up with the puck behind the West Virginia net. Body to the point for Teske. Teske, long shot, saved by Bernier. Good late deflection from James Romps. Colin Doherty high sticks that puck. West Virginia touches it first, so no whistle. Nikolajski. Nikolajski fighting for the puck against Amon. Ends up in the corner. Scott trying to play it forward to Hollander, and he will. Jacob Hollander with 2 minutes left in this third frame. Hollander down to St. Onge. Around the boards finds Scott. Scott down low to Wogish. Wogish, though, can't handle the pass. Romps trying to play it forward. Scott intercepts that. Wogish has it again, but it ends up with Travis Duchesne. Duchesne slowly through neutral. Duchesne 1-on-2, loses that puck against St. Onge. But Horan with an intercept in center, he'll send it into the offensive zone. Dylan Young behind the West Virginia net. Young up ahead, overshoots Hollander initially, and now Sims has it. Sims pressured hard there by Petter, a good defensive stick to get it back into neutral. Hollander trying to reset for the Mountaineers. This is Young. Young up ahead finds Sims. Hand pass. Hand pass there between Sims and Wogish will send this back into neutral.
Minute 16 left to play here in this third period, and we are still all knotted up at 2. Both teams want this, obviously, but we only have a minute 16 left to really get those full 3 points here before overtime.
Lots of standing in the ACC conference on the line. This is Anderson. Ryan Anderson, who scored West Virginia's first goal this afternoon. Dumps it in, one-on-one against Eli Petter. Petter ends up with the puck. Now under a minute to go in the third frame. Carter Brown with a long-range shot that goes wide of Pharisee. Sarah feeding it across. Facciano gets a stick on it, but he can't corral it cleanly. Carter Brown collects it for the Mountaineers. Maryland trying to do a fire wagon change on this one. They pull it off. Sean Amon behind the Terp cage. Amon around the side finds Warner. Blake Warner will backhand this one off the glass as it touches the netting. Just barely glancing out of play. 32 seconds on the clock, and this one will come all the way back to Maryland's defensive zone.
Maryland, again, their defense, in my opinion, has been their biggest asset of tonight's game and has been more locked down than the Mountaineers tonight. So if they can keep this puck out right now, looks like we're going to have a timeout for these last 32 seconds.
Terps calling a timeout here. A very important defensive zone draw coming up. 32 more seconds left in regulation time between the Terps and the Mountaineers. And Bailey, we've really had a treat here in Morgantown today.
This has been, again, absolutely a thriller. My favorite Terps game of this season by far. It's been great to watch, truly. I mean, no matter how this one maybe ends up, you can't go home too upset, especially if you do have to force overtime. You're getting a point regardless, which is still going to be huge against this team that you're so tied up with in the ACC standings. Both of these teams play so similarly. Their strength, again, so similarly, and it's just, this is an important one, to say the least. There's no way to sugarcoat that.
Absolutely, and as I was saying a little bit earlier with Maryland's personnel today, it's just been such a gritty game. This forward core, just kind of a patchwork collection of players, a few of them playing out of position. We're short on centers today, and still just everything seems to be meshing together. They're playing like a team. It's so fun to watch. They're all communicating, putting the team first, and playing together. It's true hockey. Both benches getting rowdy here. Look out for a set piece to Owen Ambrosi if Ryan Anderson can get a clean win here. Face-off is won by James Roms to wipe out that set piece. Great job by number 16 in red. Eamon on the far side, taken into the boards by Weichel. Anderson trying to hold it in at the blue line. He does for the moment. Body still poking at it. Anderson sending it the other way. Body and Anderson still fighting for it. Anderson, though, had a little bit of room, down to 13 seconds as James Body pokes it into center and does a fist pump. 7 seconds remaining in regulation. That pass offline for Anderson. Teskey collects it, and he'll skate out the rest of this clock as we head into overtime here in Morgantown between the Terps and the Mountaineers.
Hope you guys don't have Saturday night plans, because we have some extra hockey for you guys coming up real soon. Both teams going to pick their best 3 guys to start this one off, and obviously it's going to come down to the goalies here. Bernier and Pharisee both having some really great showings tonight. Pharisee, again, he was riding on shutout watch there until this third period where West Virginia was able to put 2 in past him, but he has still looked great after he sort of settled down from those early chances on. And of course, Bernier, a very flashy goalie, and he's going to really get you covered on all angles. So both sides, again, put out their fastest guys, and we're going to see who's going to come out on top after this one. Both teams talking it over. They're going to figure out what personnel they're going to go with first. Reminder, in the ACHA, we play 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. If nothing comes out of that, we will go into a shootout.
Had to go help technical director Grace Mohan set up our score bug for overtime. It's a slightly different setting.
We're in the 4th period right now.
The classic 4th period.
Classic, the 4th period.
West Virginia played 1 overtime game at the ACC Showcase a few weeks ago. They lost to the Delaware Blue Hens. Terps have gone to the extra session twice this season. One time a loss to Penn State, the other a shootout win over Towson. And West Virginia wins the opening faceoff. This is Owen Ambrosi. Start the clock in arena, please. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
This is Ryan Anderson. Anderson leaves for Weichel. Jake Weichel up ahead finds Ambrosi. Ambrosi one-on-one against Duchesne. Ambrosi will just dump that around the side. Eli Petter trying to get the puck from Maryland. It's still loose dangerously in front of Pharisee. A couple of pokes from Ryan Anderson around the side. Weichel picks it up. Weichel feeding it to the corner. Ambrosi there for West Virginia. Ambrosi at the point. Sending it down low behind the net to Weichel. West Virginia's captain, pressured by Maryland's captain, Brian Teskey. And Petter gets the takeaway. Eli Petter, slowing things down, wants to just maintain possession for this Terrapin squad. Up ahead for Teskey, that pass a little bit too long, and Ambrosi steals it. Owen Ambrosi leaves to Briggs. Both teams changing up their skaters. Camden Briggs now behind his goaltender, Bernier. Briggs still waiting. Seems very content with holding that puck. He leaves for Hollander. This is Hollander, one-on-one against Romps. He'll send it back over to Briggs. Briggs, poke check by Horan. Cam Horan picking up speed. Horan, shot, save Bernier, rebound, still loose. Briggs picks it up. Horan nearly with another takeaway. Cam Horan inches away right there, and now here comes Colby Sims. Sims to the near circle, darting in front, looking for the wrap. A good recovery there from Sean Amon to cut off the angle. Cam Horan controlling the puck for the Terps here. Horan has Romps if he wants him. James Romps, though, decides to change. Terps changing up. Cam Horan as well. Doherty onto the ice here, as is Chase Wilson. Sean Amon picking up speed now. Amon gets around Hollander. Amon knifing towards Bernier. Shot just wide. In the corner, Amon fighting for it, loses that battle to Ambrosi, and now here come the Mountaineers. It's Ambrosi, one-on-one against Doherty. Ambrosi, a shot, save Pharisee, and he covers it up. Jack Pharisee, a pad save on Owen Ambrosi, and quick with that glove to snuff out any rebounds.
The last line of defense there, Jack Pharisee on Ambrosi, who's just so good at finding his way to that opposing post when he needs to. Big play from 32 in red.
Both teams have already earned a point in the ACC standings tonight. Either side trying to earn the bonus one for the win. This is Ambrosi, who's been off the ice only once in this extra session for West Virginia. Ambrosi will send it around the corner for Anderson. Anderson can't get it around Rakowskis. Here comes Jack Rakowskis. Rakowskis looking for a passing lane in front. Doherty couldn't get the shot off. Back at the point, it's Rakowskis. Rakowskis sending it across to Doherty. Colin Doherty down to the far circle to Rakowskis. In front, Wilson, a tip. What a stop from Bernier. A great play there from Jack Rakowskis and Chase Wilson. Bernier with the answer. Now it's Anderson. Ryan Anderson picking up speed. Anderson pressured hard by Duchesne. That shot goes high on Pharisee. Rebound very lively off the boards, and it'll go all the way down. Briggs collecting it for the Mountaineers. Camden Briggs slowing things down again. We'll see how long he stands behind the net this time. Much shorter. This is Briggs for Hollander. Hollander, 1-on-2, gets around Duchesne, but he forces himself into the corner. Hollander against Duchesne. Petter joins the fight, trying to poke that around Colby Sims. Petter gets the puck. 1:24 left here in the extra session. Maryland has possession again. Petter up for Duchesne, back over to Petter. Petter trying to find space in neutral, up ahead to Teske. He'll tip it into the zone. Teske against Briggs in the corner, out in front. Hollander intercepts that pass, 2-on-1 developing. If the Mountaineers hurry, it's Sims. Petter gets back. Colby Sims, shot from the far side, held by Pharisee with exactly a minute to go in overtime.
Yeah, Sims there. It looked like he really had full direction on that breakaway. He decided to slow it down a little bit, maybe seeing if any of his other Mountaineers could crash into the zone with him. He decides to take that shot himself. Pharisee, though, had the answer once again right into the chest.
Unofficial shots on net, 49-34 in favor of Maryland. James Romps wins that face-off into the corner. Sean Amon picks it up for the Terps. Amon finds Romps up ahead, 2-on-1 developing. James Romps, he's got Amon with him. Romps across, Amon can't get it on net. James Romps still in the corner against Ambrosi. He falls down, and Ryan Anderson has the puck. Ryan Anderson slowing things down big time. These three skaters have been on the ice, it feels like the entire 5 minutes for West Virginia. Anderson shot wide of Pharisee. Rebound off the boards finds its way to Ambrosi. Sean Amon trying to fight him for the puck behind the net. Ambrosi ends up with it. Ambrosi in the corner. Lost his footing for a second. James Body still applying pressure. 15 seconds left in overtime. Ambrosi leaves behind him for Weichel. Weichel has some room. Shot saved by Pharisee. Rebound. Another stop. Horan trying to poke at that puck. 3 seconds. Anderson. Another save at the buzzer. Jack Pharisee shutting down Ryan Anderson at the final horn to force a shootout here in Morgantown.
Absolutely unreal there from both sides. And kind of a stupid change from Ambrosi. He decided to go off with like 6 seconds left, which left only 2 skaters there offensively for West Virginia. Nobody was there to collect one of those rebound chances, so we are going to have some shootout hockey here. We're going to see. Terps haven't had a shootout since Towson in game 1 of the season, where they were able to come out on top with a snipe from Grant Warner. We're going to see who the hero's going to be tonight for both sides. Andy, it could be me. I was talking with Coach Liam Eden before this. We decided that I'm the E-bus.
Yeah, the emergency backup shooter.
If we go through all skaters and they have to keep pulling people from the stands. So.
Unfortunately, Coach Liam Eden had to leave today early, so I don't know how many of the Maryland coaching staff will vouch for that.
Trevor was there too, so we kind of decided that around if like 15 people go and nobody scores, that I start shooting up. So if that happens, if I have to leave the call early, I apologize in advance. But we're going to see if someone can get it before me. Could be Eli Petter, who's going to go first here for the Terps.
Eli Petter will take it for Maryland in round 1. Petter coming in with speed, going to the middle. Petter, wait, shot, saved by Bernier. Petter tried to snipe him on the blocker side. Bernier sticking out his right arm to get all that one. It'll be Jacob Hollander shooting first for the Mountaineers. Jack Pharisee getting ready in his crease. Jacob Hollander taking a deep breath at center ice. Officials give him the all clear, and here comes Hollander. Hollander moving much slower than Petter. Hollander to the far side. Hollander knifing in, shot, saved by Pharisee. Hollander tried to deke him over to the left. Pharisee keeping his pad over on that right post.
Hollander maybe kind of dragged that one a little bit too far to the left, which didn't give him a good angle to get that one past Pharisee, but nonetheless, we're going back the other way. It's going to be the captain, Brian Teske.
Maryland's captain coming in. He'll go to his left on the near side, knifing back to the center. Teske, wait, score! Brian Teske picking the glove side over Bernier.
Brian Teske with a nice bottle popper there, going upper decky on that one. Terps are up with 1 goal on the shootout with their second skater. Now for the Mountaineers, it's going to be Anderson.
Ryan Anderson, who it felt like never left the ice in OT, to take shot number 2 for West Virginia. Anderson going to the far side, picking up speed in the middle. Anderson, shot saved by Pharisee. Anderson tried to go high glove. Pharisee knocked it down.
Just got a text from Liam Eden. He said, I assure you are our E-bus. So we have confirmation from the coaching staff if this keeps on going.
Glad to hear you're watching, Liam.
Appreciate it, Liam. I'm going to need a jersey, so we'll figure that out once we get to our
James
15th
Romps
guy.
with a chance to win it for the Terps. Romps slowly on the near side. Romps picking up speed and tight. Romps in close, saved by Bernier. It's in the net!
No goal,
it's
no
in
goal.
the net!
No goal. The officials are waving that one off. I'm not sure how.
I believe they're saying that James Romps tapped it in on a second effort. In a shootout, you can only get 1 shot on the goalie, so if his first attempt went off the pad and he tapped a second one past Bernier, that is no goal. Officials explaining it to Joe Carter. We did not have the best view of that one. All we saw was a puck inside of the net.
Yeah, Maryland fans not happy about that call. Still up, though. 1-0 so far in this shootout. West Virginia going to go the other way with Camden Briggs. Officials still talking it over with the Maryland bench.
Absolutely. If they overturn this call, it's game over.
You're right. I didn't even know if they would, put the history of tonight. I didn't know that was a possibility.
Coach Joe Carter and James Romps both explaining their case to the officials. The officials not budging on the call on the ice. Like I said, I believe the official ruling was that Romps took a first shot that was saved by Bernier and then tapped home a second effort. And the officials officially say no goal. So Camden Briggs, to try and keep the Mountaineers alive, will go one-on-one against Pharisee. Camden Briggs. Briggs very slow. Now picking up speed on the near circle. Briggs in tight, saved by Pharisee! Terps win! Terps win! Boy, love story in Morgantown! That's 2 points in the ACC standings for Maryland.
Terps able to climb the mountain down earlier in this third period. They come all the way back. It took everybody tonight. The forwards to the defenseman, Jack Pharisee in net. Absolutely outstanding win here from the Terrapins. They are taking 2 points home to really make a case above West Virginia in this Southeast ACC division.
Jack Pharisee, the hero at the end of the night, 3 for 3 in the shootout. A beautiful final stop on Camden Briggs to ice it. And the Terps, back-to-back wins here in Morgantown, 2 points in the ACC standings and a tight race with the Mountaineers for that final playoff spot. Beautiful gameplay from Maryland. And as I begin to catch my breath and we shake hands at center ice, our technical director today was Grace Mohan. Color commentator Bailey Unchester. My name is Andy Parr. Thank you so much for tuning in to this incredible game today on the Maryland Hockey Network. We will see you potentially next week for the Terps against George Washington. Still working out some details on that. But either way, enjoy your Terps win at home, folks. This was a fun one.